Alright guys, so I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on what we're going to call partial color. So this is going to be a way that you can really bring out the subject in your image, and that's by removing the color from basically everywhere but what you want to highlight, and that's going to draw the viewer's eye to that really well. Okay, so we've got here what is a pretty iconic image, whether you're a basketball fan or not. You've probably seen this or something similar somewhere before. It's a great image, obviously, but I mean, a way that we could bring out the subject a little bit more would be to bring him away from the background a bit. And so if we were to turn this black and white and then have either his whole body or just his jersey popping out, then that's going to really draw the viewer's eye there. Okay, so there's actually a few different ways that you can do this through using color range and different selection tools, but I'm going to show you guys a way using masking that's very similar to some of the skills that we've already been doing. Okay, so I've got my image here. Next step, I'm just going to go down to the bottom here and click on my layer masks here. So if I click on this, it's going to bring up a little menu, and I've got this choice for hue and saturation, so I'm going to click on that. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to get this new set of controls here that I can create, and I'm also going to get a new layer here, which is what's called our layer mask. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the saturation all the way down, and saturation is how much color there is in the image. So if I increase it, you're going to see that it gets what's called oversaturated, but if I take it all the way down, it's going to become black and white, and you can see that there's even kind of an effect here where if you have it sort of all the way down almost but not quite, that it kind of still brings out that red, but everything else is kind of faded. So there's some different effects you can do with this, but we're going to just bring it all the way down. Okay, so next step here is just to make sure that we have a paintbrush, just like we've been using with our other masking techniques. Make sure that you have black in the front here, and if you don't, you can click this little arrow, and if for some reason it's color, just double click and choose black right here. Alright, next step is to make sure that you've clicked on your layer mask and that it's white, and as long as it's white, anywhere that you paint, the background will be revealed. Okay, now it's important that we zoom in a little bit closer here and make sure that we're getting these details done a little bit better. Okay, so we can come in with our brush here, and this brush is a little bit large. I'm going to end up getting that kind of ghosting around the edges that we've talked about. So the smaller the brush, the more detail that we're going to be able to get. Okay, and then I can do a larger brush for larger areas. Okay, now you'll notice that it's not just bringing in the red, it's actually bringing in, there's a little bit of an orange tint here where the white is, and that's just from the lighting in the stadium there. Okay, another little trick that you can use is if you click once and then hold shift and click again, it will draw lines. Okay, so that'll actually help you kind of go along the edges a little bit so that you're not having to just freehand everything. Okay, so you can keep going. Okay, now I mean I could go through and do this whole thing here, but you guys don't need to see the whole thing to get the idea here. Okay, now as I've showed you, I've got, here's his jersey here. If for some reason there was somewhere else that I wanted to highlight something, all I'd have to do is just use my paintbrush, and I mean I could paint this post back here, maybe the Gatorade. Okay, so anything that I want to highlight, I can bring the color back out. Okay, maybe the basketball, maybe I want that to be. Okay, so there's some different things that you can do with it, and you can be really creative with it. So what I want you guys to do is to try this with some of your own images, and then as well I wouldn't mind seeing you guys finding some images that you enjoy off of Google, high quality images preferably, that you can kind of go in and try this technique out. Alright,